The He podcast is presented by Asian Atelier by Alin Anwar. Who is he? He is me. Hi, I'm Rafi Redzwan. This is he. Here is my chance to share some amazing stories with some amazing people that are inspiring to me. He celebrates everyday people of everyday life. He revolves around conversations that inspire others to change the world and make a difference in life, with a little bit of laughter and a whole lot of drama. Join me for personal stories and experiences on health and healing, successes and failures, recovery and discovery, anything relatable, and anything in between. He elevates us to rise again and live our very best life. Just so you know, you are not alone. He is with you. Asian Atelier by Alin Anwar is an artisan at work, here to meticulously design one-of-a-kind bridal attire with Southeast Asian influence and a touch of French couture, well known for its bespoke kabaya and songket for special occasions. The atelier offers bridal styling with tips and ideas that curate head-to-toe ensemble for the bridal collection that includes Cantik Sekali Kabaya, the Songket collection, Luxe Bridal Collection, the Red Carpet and Festive Collection. It also provides wedding planning services and an experiential wedding venue, Vilanis Marang, in Terengganu. Asian Atelier is a top 10 wedding planner in Malaysia with 20 years of experience. The founder, Alin Anwar, is a certified wedding planner and a bridal kabaya designer, passionate about creating experiential weddings and everlasting memories. For more information, visit asianatelier.com or click the link in the description below.
I pun macam
Ah,
I just got your message then I was like,
ah,
Muhammad ni betul he wants me kan when I look at because I've been following you, right? And I
ah.
know lah kan macam, look at the previous people that you've invited. And macam, why me? Macam tu, betul tak?
Zee Jamil fosters positive emotions to build stronger relationships and communicate effectively. In this episode, he delves into how she helps her clients find their voices to regulate their emotions positively, relieve stress, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflicts. As a certified GENOS emotional intelligence practitioner, she aims to cultivate emotional intelligence personally and professionally. The vision she aspires to change is to shift their perception and to touch the lives of an individual through their families first. She believes that validating people's emotions is crucial. What matters the most is being able to provide a safe sounding space for the members of the family to be vulnerable and express themselves healthily. This is her story. Hi Z,
Hello, hi Rifi.
how are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Alhamdulillah, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for even inviting me to be part of this amazing work that you're doing.
Yes, and I'm so honored to have this conversation with you. I want to know and I want to dive deeper into emotional intelligence.
Basically, emotional intelligence is when we make intelligent responses to negative feelings, which I think is very challenging for all of us, most of us. And how do we make intelligent responses is basically by using specific skills. So these are the skills that I strongly believe that um, we have to start equipping our generation, from the
Mhm.
younger age until up to adult. So making intelligent responses requires us to be present. So I know it's
Mm.
very hard, with things when people actually really celebrate people who are like multitaskers, who even if, let's say you want to be hired, one of the skills required is can you multitask projects? But then again, I personally feel that when you multitask too many things, you won't be able to be present. So when you can't be present in the moment, and
Mhm.
how can you make intelligent responses, right, to negative feelings? You will just like you won't be there to make
Mm.
good responses.
So basically, is how you, in layman's term, is how you manage your emotion.
Yes, exactly.
And what does a certified GENOS emotional intelligence practitioner do?
Professionally, a certified GENOS practitioner, we do conduct trainings, on emotional
Mm.
intelligence. And as for me, because I'm a teacher by profession, I've been a teacher for 15 years. And what I do is I do conduct therapy sessions, which I call photo coaching sessions. I do conduct sessions for parents. I do conduct sessions for students as young as 10 years old, 9 years old, and I also conduct trainings for my very own team. So when people focus more on developing other skills, I suppose learning how to regulate our emotion is one of the most important skills that we need nowadays.
And how long have you been a certified emotional intelligence practitioner?
Okay, this is interesting part. When COVID hit, I decided to just leave teaching for a while. And that was the moment when my friend, a trainer, certified trainer, she came and approached me, would you like to take up this certification? Because of COVID, so they had to conduct it online. So that was actually the moment. I didn't really understand yet at that moment what is emotional intelligence, but because I'm a counseling graduate, because my degree is in TESOL and my minor is counseling. So in a way, I do believe that emotional intelligence would be something useful at that moment. When COVID hit, it's the world stopped, right?
Yeah.
And when everybody had to be home, like me, my husband, my girls, as much as we love having everybody home, but it hit us differently because everybody was stressed out. Everybody was
Yes.
like, we need our own space. We couldn't really it was very emotional at that moment, I think, because everybody was frustrated, like financially, of course, almost everyone, a lot of people were financially affected. So my husband was affected emotionally on a different level. My daughter was like continuing her degree and she was affected because she couldn't really go out. It will be frustrating now when you are in your final year, and when you have this um when you have been visualizing yourself being very active at university, but at the end of the day you were trapped at home. And then my youngest, being in school, so everybody was like emotionally, we didn't know how to regulate our emotion. We wanted to say
Mm.
that I don't want to see your face, but we are trapped at home, right? The best part about emotional intelligence is when I understand the model. There are 6 competencies, and when you understand this, Rafi, it's amazing, because I realized that was the moment when I realized, oh, I have to be aware of myself. Because under GENOS there are 6 competencies. The first one is self-awareness. The second one is awareness of others. So for me to be
Mm.
able to regulate my emotion, I have to be aware of myself first. What am I feeling? Am I angry or am I frustrated? Because those are two different emotions. Am I angry at my husband or am I angry at something else? But he was the best or the easiest option for me to lash out at.
Yes, 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 yes.
So
Oh,
it teaches me, although of course it will look like on paper or you are certified emotional intelligence practitioner, but on a deeper level, it helped me first. When I thought, okay, when I once COVID is over, maybe I can just pursue my career as a practitioner. But it was actually for me, Rafi. It was for me when I learned how to regulate my own emotion. So that's when I learned that whenever I came home from work, and I know
mm,
I couldn't say hi to my kids, I couldn't say hi to my husband. I have to like straight away go up, relax, take a shower, then only I can go and meet them. Or else I would be bringing all these negative vibes, all my exhaustion from work, and I will not be the best of me at home, which is unfair, right? Like you try your best
mm.
to be the bubbly person at work, to be liked at work, to be like this positive vessel for your team. But when you're home, you're exhausted, you're lethargic, you marah-marah, your kids, you marah-marah your husband,
Mm.
which is unfair. So that is
Betul,
self-awareness. So I know that
betul,
I'm tired. I thought, I'm sorry, mom. I'm tired. Can I just take a rest first? So that as simple as that, but it changes the whole dynamic at home, Rafi.
betul. Now, I
Mm,
noticed that. I think when I was working full time, I don't remember I was behaving like that because I go home single.
mm-mm.
Now that I am a stay-at-home dad, I noticed that when my wife came home, if she has a good time at work, she'll come home looking okay. I
Mm-mm.
can sense that she is going through something at work, and she will do the same thing, just like you did, go upstairs, freshen up, sometimes start cooking and not talking to us. I would just leave her be. I
Mm-mm.
know that, until she's ready to be herself.
Mm-mm.
Um, yes, it's not fair, but what can we do about it, kan? Like, uh, other than just ignore it until they come back to themselves.
That's true. That's when I would reflect back by looking at the second competencies, which is awareness of others. So what you did was amazing when you actually let your wife to have her own space because you are aware of her emotion.
Yes.
It's as simple as, for example, as if let's say we're talking about our family, our own institution, I would say our very small institution. You want to tell something, you want to talk something, you have something to tell your wife. You, as much as she is the closest to you, you still
Mm-mm.
have to be aware of her emotion at that particular time. Will
Yes.
she be able to accept? Will she be able to digest the information or the news that you want to convey, the news that you want to break to her? So that is awareness of others, which I think a lot of people they are not aware of that.
Mm-mm. Most of the time, I'm aware of other people's emotion, but when I hit the wrong button, volcano,
Mm-mm.
volcano. So basically kita macam who's right.
Betul. So macam
Yeah.
macam when you press the wrong button, when people that's the another part of self-awareness, Rafi, whereby
Mm.
you have to be aware of your triggers. You know that okay, this will trigger you. So
Mm-mm.
once you know that this particular thing can trigger you, but once you're intelligent, once you're emotionally intelligent, you would know how to regulate your emotion. Like
Betul.
previously, we would be very egoistic kan, macam siapa suruh cakap, kau dah tahu kan
Mm-mm.
aku macam ni, for instance, right?
Mm.
But if you learn more about yourself, you know that this will trigger you. But at work, you have to be professional. But
Yes.
I always believe that if you can be professional at work, why can't you be professional at home? If you can try your best to be emotionally intelligent with your colleague, with your bosses, why can't you
Mm-mm.
do the same at home? Because your kids, your wife, your spouse, they need the best of you. They need the calmest version of you. They need the happiest version of you. So that's the perception that I want to change. So my goal is eventually I want to focus more on a person as uh I want to touch individual. I don't want as much as we know. If we're talking about money making business, apa tu industry, right, Rafi? We know
Mm.
that training is a money making industry nowadays. When people the awareness about in mental health is growing now. Okay, some trainers, some coaches, they are taking advantage of it. But I think personally, as a trainer, me, as I my vision is I want to go to a person because I want to create this awareness because I know how it can help the family, their loved ones first. Because you have to excel at home, then only you can excel at work. Because eventually, if
Mm.
you lose your work, you will lose your colleague. If you are replaceable, but you are not replaceable at home.
Yes. So
Why?
true.
Fathers, mothers, children, they have to know how to regulate their emotions so that their loved ones will be treated, I wouldn't say will be treated well, but
Respect.
respect, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally feel that when you have when the members of the family they have this knowledge, they are able to regulate emotion, they have the knowledge of emotional intelligence. What matters the most, Karafi, is they are able
Mm.
to provide this safe sounding space. You know, a safe space for people to just be vulnerable. That is what it's all about. Our kids they choose not to be vulnerable with the parents because parents sometimes they have too much expectation on the children. So no, I can't. You know, if I cry, if I tell my parents I can't do this, they will say that I'm weak. But we want our kids to come to us being vulnerable, right? Because we as parents, as a family, we should be able to be the safe space for them to just drop everything, to just cry and bounce back.
Yes.
That's not what we get now because parents' expectation towards the children is just sometimes too crazy
Mm-mm.
that the kids can't be vulnerable in front of their own parents. It's all
Mm-mm.
because parents, they are not aware of the kids' emotion, because the way
Yeah.
to raise our kids nowadays are different. You have your son, right, Rafi?
Yeah.
Can you raise him the way your dad? But your parents are amazing, lah. I love your parents. But do you think you can raise the same way like your dad, your mom raised you back then?
Yes.
Yeah, some
I don't
yes.
know. I can, tapi I don't know if
Mm.
my wife can. We're
Ah,
two different person.
hmm.
You brought up an interesting point, you see, about being expressive. I grew up being able to express. So when I got married, I was super expressive, which is something that my spouse isn't used to. She
Mm-mm.
grew up, and I cannot speak for her, but from what I understand, that the difference is that she grew up that she, not to say that she's wasn't allowed to express. It's just that our culture like basically can suppress
Mm-mm.
these emotions. You cannot cry, you cannot behave, especially when you are angry, for example. So I was so expressive, and then at the same time, um, say if I were upset with something, I'm also have to deal with myself being wanting to. I want to leave forever. I want to come back to Malaysia. I told my
Mm-mm.
dad, I don't want to come back at all. I don't want to see you. I'm upset. Okay, it may be true. I meant what I said, but that doesn't mean I will truly do, because I
Mm-mm.
was just expressing my anger. This is something that I saw in my son. He's
Mm.
upset of something. I didn't let him watch TV. Okay, I noticed he was upset. Or if I was, if I were too busy working, he'd be like, "Daddy, you're working too much. I know you're
Mm.
upset." So he will find things to express his feelings about being upset that I did not pay attention to him. He will like, "Rah." And I don't want to talk to you, Daddy. Mom, go upstairs. And
Mm-mm.
then, okay, now before you start, so my way, it will I would let him process his feelings. I would say
Good.
don't bounce the door. Okay, it's not nice, but I will let him, process his feeling. My spouse, on the other hand, was like, "Why you do that? It's rude to your dad. You should do that. You should respect your dad." Okay, that's also right. What do you think?
I personally feel that validating people's emotion is crucial, Rafi,
Yeah.
regardless, because for example, because we are born with emotions, right? We are born with our limbs, we are born with hair, we are born, like our
Mm,
body physically, right? And when it comes to emotion, we are born with it. So that's why we have the right to cry. We have the right to be angry, frustrated. um, so I think another important area that I would really to shout out or create more awareness is validation.
mm,
So validation of their feelings. Their actions might be wrong. So I do validate your emotions, but then again, not your actions, because those are the two different things. Me validating your emotions and actions are two different things. So that's another thing that people have to understand. So when we talk about validating emotion, I think the culture lah, if let's say we were to translate it to Malay kan, macam if let's say you were to do something, you were to make this one decision, orang katanya, kenapa kau buat macam tu ah? Like why did you
mm,
do that? So why is a very powerful word which can really break people. You know why? Because you are giving this perception that, are you doubting my capability to make my own decision?
mm,
Right, when you're questioning me why. So we have to rephrase our questioning skills. So what I do now, which I practice with my at home, at school, is, for instance, for example, just now kan you mentioned about why did you shout at your dad? That's rude, kan? So instead of
mm,
asking why, okay, what made you do that? Or sometimes kadang-kadang kita kan tak boleh compute people's stupidity kan. Macam we just cannot compute macam why did you say that? Why did you do that? So instead, ask what makes you do that? What makes you
mm,
think that way? So we are asking for reasons. We are not judging them for making that action. So we can start actually by that one powerful question. So whenever I do coaching for parents, for example, because I am also in the safeguarding team, the good thing about private school is that we have uh, a very structured system, whereby if let's say we identify students who have shown certain signs, so we would definitely call the parents and we call it under safeguarding. So when I consult parents, this is the among the first thing that I would educate parents, how do you talk to your kids at home? So instead of asking them why, because if you keep asking them why, for example, why did you do that? Why didn't you study? Why did you cry? Change.
Mm,
We have to change the way we approach our kids. Then only we will be able to provide them. They will feel safe enough to come and reach out to us. Like I don't know what I mean, things that you've gone through. I believe it's very traumatizing and all. And I know your parents, I know how supportive they are, but maybe the community were not. Okay.
mm, mm, mm,
So the safe space too,
mm.
space, because everybody, regardless gender, regardless religion, they
Mm.
deserve to live. But then again, our community, sometimes we are being too judgmental that we do not provide them a space to be vulnerable langsung.
Yes.
Kan, by
Mm,
judging them, by not validating the emotion. Again, I'm
mm.
talking about validating emotion, not actions.
Banyak benda kalau anak kalau marah, kita kena validate perasaan marah dia. Kita tak boleh validate action dia. Yes, dia ketuk pintu tu. I disagree, but of course I accept he's being angry because I know why he was angry in the first place because I didn't spend enough time with him, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so clear cut. What you just said just now is just suddenly reflect to me the things I've learned, some of the things I've learned in school, in religious class, about how we should treat people around us. When you spoke about being judgmental, kan, it's easy for people to just shoot something to what they think is right.
Yep, yep. Mm-mm.
When we all, as a person, trying to validate our own feeling is a difficult thing to do, let alone to validate other people's feeling. Um, this is when I think this conversation comes in, where people judge other people as they please. We cannot stop them, but we forget that we choose our scenes too. You know,
Mm-mm.
when I say sin, our actions also. The
Mm-mm.
things that we do is okay to us, but it's not okay for other people to do it. Then jadilah satu emotions of war. You know, like some because these emotions cannot see, so you will only be able to express it with your actions, like ketuk pintu.
Mm-mm.
um, and then sometimes you say things you don't mean, like, I personally, when I get angry or when I get upset with something, every single thing in my mind, like, I want to live forever. I want to
Mm-mm.
get away with, I want to leave Malaysia, I want to leave America, I want to anywhere that I live, I want to leave. So wow, Z, I think what you just shared is so important. It's not just like you want to change things of how people treat with each other. It's how people understand what emotion is really about.
Yeah,
Emotion can also be expressed through a lot of things.
because it's wonderful when you validate it. Just now you share about you validating your son's emotion, right? Because
Hmm.
if the emotions are suppressed, it will definitely lead to generational trauma, right? Because
Betul.
he's been suppressing his emotion and he doesn't know how to let it out, let it go. And then when he has his own family, his own children, he would be treating the kids the same way. So I think it's about time for us to break the cycle. Without education, you won't be able to do that. So that's why it's crucial. What you're doing is amazing, Rafi, because you are reaching out to people so that people will understand how, as simple as, I wouldn't say validating people's emotion is simple. It's hard. That's why it's very hard for people to actually do that, to validate.
Mm-mm.
Like I believe that a lot of marriages can be saved
Yes.
if, let's say, we learn about validating our spouses, our partner's emotions.
Mm-mm. Yes, betul sangat. That one I agree. Not all marriages can be salvaged. Most of them can be. Kalau you tak ikut nafsu, betul-betul boleh selamatkan because dunia ni sementara.
Betul, because you know why? Because as I mentioned earlier, there are six competencies in GENOS model of emotional intelligence, right? The fourth one is actually emotional reasoning. So if I can simplify, to me, emotional reasoning is when you have a decision to make, you make sure you consult the person that you want to macam kalau ke office kan, macam okay, I
Hmm.
nak assign you with something. I know you are capable of doing it. I have to make sure I ask you first at least. Will you be okay if I assign you to this project? Although
Hmm.
I know deep down that you are able to do that. So that is
Hmm.
emotional reasoning. We do not assume people would accept it because, for instance, let's say you are this tip top. consultant of mine lah, for instance,
Yeah.
I assume you will perform all the time, but who knows, at that moment you are going through the darkest moment of your life. It's just that you are very good at camouflaging it, so people don't know that you are going through shit, for example, okay.
Yeah.
So as a leader, as a boss lah, I macam ala Refi confirm lah he will be able to ace this project, but then again you're not, because you're emotionally disturbed, but you do not know how to share with others, right? So the
Mm-mm.
same thing in family, in marriages. So it's interesting when you say that as a husband, yes, you have the power over your wife, I would say, kan.
Mm-mm.
Tapi in any decision, it's good if you discuss first, even with your children. Ask for the opinion. Will they be okay
Mm-mm.
with this? Will they be okay with that? Don't be like a dictator. Macam, I'm a father, so you have to listen to me. I'm the father, so I can decide everything. Or I'm the father, I know what's best for my family. Although it is true, some part of it is true. But if we in this current generation, in the
Mm-mm.
current world that we're living in, like encouraging our children to be expressive is crucial.
Yes.
Hmm. or
Wow.
else or else because sometimes, okay, yes, jodoh you tak kat tu je, so you have to opt for divorce. But then again, if let's say you have children married before, but luckily alhamdulillah I didn't have any children with my ex-husband, at least I could just stop there, I could just forget about him, like past habis. But those with
Mhm.
children, like you will still have to meet the mother of your child,
Yeah.
and then you don't want to
Betul.
kan, sebab you tak nak lah
Yes.
macam psycho budak tu pula,
Yeah.
kutuk-kutuk mak dia ke, orang lepas
Betul.
kutuk-kutuk bapak dia depan dia kan, so like what. Ah, so that's
It's
why.
very challenging. I mean, it's not. I would lie if I if I say I never thought about it. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm
Mm-mm.
sure every marriage has its own challenges. Okay. Okay.
Right.
I'm sure, just to be honest here, I think I have thought about it. Like, what would happen to now that I have a child? It's not
Mm-mm.
just going to be like, bye bye. Tak boleh. Because it's affecting, although, like I said, kalau if the marriage is causing you like physical abuse, mental, yang sangat melampau, then I suggest that shouldn't be salvaged. Tapi kebanyakan marriage lah, some, maybe not all, banyak yang nafsu betul-betul. Kahwin dua, kahwin tiga,
Yeah, true.
kan? Mana yang tak boleh salvage tu lain dah tu. Yang ini masuk yang macam yang banyak nafsu je. Macam tak bersyukur, macam I tak bersyukur kadang. For me kalau I fikir, I rasa macam tak bersyukur sebenarnya. Sebenarnya keluar bukannya selamatkan I pun. Banyak orang emotional intelligence dia low.
Exactly.
Sebab tu bukan marriage saja, dia kat sekolah, tempat kerja, dengan kawan-kawan. All of this because our emotional intelligence are very low. Maybe we're not cultured in that sense. We're not educated enough. I don't know. So now you have shared that what has led you to be on this journey. How do we find our voices in this journey of emotional intelligence? How do we manage our emotion positively to basically to start with relieving our stress and then be able to communicate effectively so that we can empathize with others and then overcome the challenges and eventually diffuse conflict?
Okay, that's a very powerful question, Rafi. You know what? I think if you Google, or if you go to ChatGPT, how to be an emotionally intelligent person, you get
Mm,
all the information there. Everything is there. But based on my experience as a trainer, the the first step, or the most crucial part that everybody has to learn, is to be an attentive listener. We have to start learning how to listen actively, listen attentively, because there's an amazing book, and I love the book so much. I can't remember the author. So this author, she has actually opened up my mind about the concept of supporting conversation versus shifting conversation. So what we've been doing all this while, or not we, but most people have been doing all this while, is we've been shifting. We feel that we are a good listener, right? But then again, we've been shifting the conversation just because we want to show other people that, oh, I've been in your shoes before. Oh, I know how you feel. So, for instance, we're talking about families, right? You talk about
Yes.
your son just now. I could just easily say, oh, really? Oh, yeah, my son or my daughter, she does exactly the same thing. Whenever she's angry, she would bang the door. So that is shifting. But maybe because of lack of awareness, my intention was just to show you that you're not alone, Rafi. Not just your child. My child does the same thing too. Okay, that's
Mhm.
my pure intention. But then again, you, when you are ready to just be vulnerable, open up, about the conflict in your family, you tak habis cakap lagi orang lain dah sibuk dah cerita pasal dia. So dia tak habis tau, dia tak puas.
Mm.
Dia jadi macam, aku pula dengan cerita dia. When you are like, you are finding the outlet to just let go your frustration, right? So that is shifting conversation, and that happens a lot. So what we should do is, for example, for us to release stress, for us, because one of the ways for us to release stress is actually to be able to just let it out, right? That's why I am very particular whenever I want to talk to someone. So
Yes.
I have to talk to. That's why it's very important, because now I think it's a lot better, because people now embrace attending therapies. People embrace, going for counseling, because all this while I don't want to go to for counseling sessions because it proves that I have a problem. I am the problem. But then again, it's
Mm-mm.
crucial for us to go to professionals, because they are trained to learn, to listen, because they won't be shifting. They will be supporting your conversation. And that's
Mm-mm.
the reason why people, I think that one of the reasons why people suppress their emotion is because they know if they go to their parents, itulah, I've told you, right?
Oh, I
So,
hate the word tula. I hate it. I don't like when my mom tula. I told you
Kan?
already.
Told you already. Or they will immediately give advice. Betul tak?
Tak
They will
advice.
immediately give
Tula
advice.
balasan. Tak pasal-pasal aku
Ha,
kena.
kan?
Balasan.
Kan? Itulah dah ada anak sendiri kan, masa kau kecil.
Ah!
Dah ada anak sendiri, tanggung. Macam itulah.
Tunggu lah. Sebab tu I sampai sekarang I macam kenapa kau ada sembunyi balas I ke? My mom curse me.
Kan?
Tak kahwin salah, kahwin salah. Tak
What do
tahu.
you want, kan? Macam tu.
Okay, go on,
Uh,
go on.
so macam, so that us, like growing up, I think our generation lah, the 1980s kids kan. So growing up, our parents, the way we were raised or we are raised is basically macam, tu lah, or immediately they will give advice. So
Yes.
that's shifting tau. Shifting yang macam terus dia shift tu, macam dulu masa I kecil dulu dah jadi cerita dia pula. Faham tak? During my
Mm-mm.
time, I would never do that to my dad. I would kena lempang, confirm kena lempang. So faham tak? Dia terus shift. So when your child is actually baru nak buka cerita semua, so you are supposed to support the conversation. So that's when the questioning skill is important. You tanya cakap, what makes you do that? What makes you feel that way? What do you think you should do? Which is has to be nurtured lah. You have to learn how to ask. So coming back to when I told you that I'm being very cautious whenever I want to tell people. So because we have like different set of friends, kan?
Mm-hmm.
I know if I need to talk, I would only go to this one person if I need to talk, because I know that he or she is a great listener. So if let's say you need someone to talk to, you have to know whom to go to. They will be shifting the conversation, and eventually you will be you the one who have to listen to the person. And another thing is that when people shift their conversation, the scariest thing is that when people actually give you solutions, um, on a professional level, as a counselor or as a trainer, we are not allowed to give solutions to our clients. What we do is we support them with questions so that they will be able to gain their own clarity. Because for example, Rafi, if you have any problems, you know what you want to do. You know what need to be done. It's just that you need to listen. You need to hear it out loud from yourself. You nak kena dengar you cakap benda tu. But then again, you are unable to do that because you don't know the right questions to ask. So that's the magic of photo coaching. So I
Mm.
combine emotional intelligence with photo coaching, because sometimes people are more visual, right?
Yes.
So using the cards, using the pictures, in a way, it can help you to sort of like think think out of the box, to see the unseen. Cakap, oh, Just
Oh.
by looking at one photo, in a way, maybe that one particular photo will bring you back all the way to when you were 10. And sometimes certain people, they are more, they can see things clearer with words. So that one particular word, for example, I just did my, uh, a session, I did a coaching session last week. The word was compassion, and it hit me like, ugh,
Mm.
I think I'm losing my compassion a bit recently. So I have to nurture it back. So what do I have to do? So again, for you to be able to do that, you have to know the right person to talk to.
Although we know sometimes all these skills and whatnot, sometimes I cannot help it to be my own mother.
What do you mean?
Shifting and supporting.
Mm-mm.
Instead of listening, kita shiftkan to giving our advice, giving our opinion yang
Especially
lagi
advice and opinion, right?
yang menyakitkan hati tau. Yang reflect balik dekat dia macam dia yang bermasalah. Padahal dia nak ceritakan je. So it's hard to not to do that, although I personally do not like that. But at the same time, I'm guilty of it too. There are times instead of listening, I cut it off. But people do that to me too. If it's not my spouse, my family members or friends, um, how do we balance that?
It's doable, you know. I know
Hmm.
I understand it's hard, but it's doable because, for instance, me and my husband, our age gap is a bit, it's huge, you know. I'm for 39, he's for 50. So he is basically like my uncles, you know, like my
Mm-mm.
dad, the generation yang, itulah, you know, or immediately, especially to our children, our daughters. But then again, I would be, maybe because, okay, I'm equipped with the skills, with the knowledge, so I would be the one who would tell him, listen to them first. And now what I do is, which is very powerful, Rafi, whenever I want to go to him and whenever I want to tell him something, I would tell him, okay, I have something to share with you. I don't need you to give me advice. I know what I want to do. I just want to share with you what I have in mind. So he's ready not to give me advice. He will immediately give me advice. And when I do not follow whatever that he said, he'll be frustrated. You know, itulah dah cakap kat you dah. You cakap kat I, lepas tu bila I suruh buat ni, tak nak buat. But then I would tell him like, I didn't ask for your advice. I just want you to listen to me. Would you rather me coming to you or go to other guys?
Yes, and let it be your experience for you to learn.
Hmm.
Betul? Like
Betul.
biar you yang okay, you ceritakan, and then if it happens to you, okay, you probably something happen and be like, I could have done this. Okay, that's your experience to learn, not for him to
Exactly.
dictate. Not for
Yeah.
him to, yes, aturkan.
My stepdaughters, they're big now. For example, the eldest is 24, the youngest is 18, right? So
Mhm.
whenever they want to tell us something, um, I will let them tell me first. And then at the end, after they have shared everything, then I would ask them, would you like my advice? Or I would tell them, can I share
Yeah.
at the end, at
At
the
the end,
very end. Huh.
I like that style. You just taught
Mm,
me something. I think when my son wanted to come to me, let them talk, betul? And
mm-mm,
then at the end, we ask them back. Would
mm-mm.
you like my advice?
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Right. You should try that. You should try
Okay,
it. It's
okay,
amazing.
okay.
Eventually they will listen. But at
Yes.
least they will feel relieved that, okay, I know that it is safe for me to come to my parents to just share. And yes, I do welcome advice because I know that they are, of course, wiser than me. You know, they have more experience, but at least I'm heard. You know, they listen to me.
After listening to what you just said, I want to hug my wife, my son, my
Oh,
mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters. Like, I'm sorry if I did not. I thought I was highly, I have high EQ, but I don't.
banyak shifting kan? No,
Oh,
because
banyak shifting.
no, I know your personality. I've known you since we were in school, right? Macam you macam,
Hmm.
oh yeah lah 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 lah. So that's the personality,
Betul.
the vibe that people need. That people need because I have like one person memang who's like that at work. But there would be time when I would stay away from the person.
Sebab dia too much. Energy high dia too, vibration dia too high.
Yes. But
Sometimes too much. Betul. Betul.
Betul.
I sendiri tak boleh dengan diri I kadang. Atau
Hmm.
orang macam I. Tak boleh.
Kan, there's nothing
Ah,
wrong. It's just that there are
ah,
moments yang macam okay, it's a bit too much.
yes.
I can't cope.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Betul. My son, my wife lah. I mean, we live together for 10 years kan.
Mm-mm.
There will be a quiet moment. That's the moment when I know she had enough. When I give too much energy.
How does that make you feel?
That's when I will talk to my cousin pula ke. You know, now that I have a podcast, the podcast is sort of my outlet. But not so because a lot of them are my guest story, kan? And I will share
Mm-mm.
mine a little bit. Tapi sometimes I feel like I'm being shut. Sometimes just
Really?
because this person needed that space, and I have to respect that. I really have to because we all need that space. If she needs that space, that at the time when I had so much to talk about, I have to respect that space. Even my son, 6-year-old son, needed his space. There will be days he will just wake up in the morning, tak peluk, tak cium. He just went down and have his moment alone downstairs. I know. I think I know. I think I personally know I have that energy that sometimes I talk too much and everything. But at the same time, when I want to talk about something, when people like, oh, I cannot have you right now, maybe some other time, I have to respect that. I have learned a long time ago,
Hmm.
and I would just go lah until they're ready, and I would not take that personally. Meaning, just because they wanted the space, I would not like tak nak lah kawan dengan dia. Dia buat I macam ni. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Tak, would still welcome them. I think forgiveness, acceptance is another whole conversation.
Correct, correct.
I accept them for who they are and I forgive them for what they did because I am no different. Sometimes I may have done it to other people. This is just another reflection of me.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll welcome you back into my life. Biarlah dia buat tahi macam mana pun.
Betul. Macam that's amazing. That's amazing, Rafi. You know why? Because um that's when another level of self-awareness is needed because you have so much to share, right? But people, your loved ones, are not ready because they
Mm-mm.
are in their own bubbles, right? So that is another important part where you would have to identify, okay, I can go to my loved ones, so what would be my other outlet? So for example, you
Yes.
have your podcast, but then again it's your guest stories. So what
Mm-mm.
would be another outlet for me? So if someone who do not have a high emotional intelligence, they would be like attacking people then.
Mm.
Like, why can't you be there for me? You know, blaming others and all. So
Itu yang jadi konflik kat luar tu yang gaduh sampai pukul-pukul ke. Is that why?
yeah, because you know what, based on what you've been sharing with me today, your self-awareness towards others is really high because you are more observant now. Okay, she's not okay, so let's not go to her yet. You know, okay, my son needs his time. Okay, let him be first. So that is self-awareness of others. You are aware of those around you, which is amazing.
I tak boleh lah jadi depressed lah. Bila
Ah,
I tak ada outlet tu, I become so depressed sampai
correct.
bunuh-bunuh diri lah. Jadi macam, not bunuh diri but suicidal thoughts. Like
Yeah.
maybe I don't deserve to live this
So
life.
that's why it's crucial for us to educate our family members, you know. Like even for my husband pun, sometimes when I know that I can't, but he has to tell me, but I really need you now. So I have to, as a person, regardless how tired I am, let me be there for you. Let me be
Mm.
there. Because I know you need me the most. So when everybody knows what their role is, regardless how tired they are, they will be there for you.
Mm.
Because they know how to regulate their emotion. Sometimes I will tell my husband because he's a social media marketing person, right? So he's with his phone all the time. So initially I got really frustrated because whenever I want to talk to him, he would be like holding his phone. I know he's listening, but you know people won't be like listening 100%, giving 100% attention on you, right? So now
Mm-mm.
I'm smarter. Cewa. So what I do is, betul. Let
Betul,
me
betul.
know. I would ask him, I would tell him, okay, let me know when you are ready to talk or let me know when you are ready to listen. Then he would tell me, okay, give me 10 minutes. So then I know lah, I just have to wait for another 10 minutes. Then he would put his phone away. Then I can have like 30 minutes conversation, uninterrupted conversation with him. Because he knows that he has 10 minutes to complete whatever that he has to do. Because the next 30 minutes will be his attention towards me. It reduces a lot of frustration in me and
Yeah.
in him. Because I've even told
Yes.
him, okay, whatever I'm going to tell you is what I want to tell you. I don't need your advice. I just need to let it out. Then he would not give me advice. But eventually at the end too, I would ask him, what do you think?
Mm,
Just to show
mm.
him respect lah, that your thoughts matters.
Yes, indeed.
Mm.
Indeed. Um, I would like to talk your role as a practitioner. Do you evaluate them? Is it okay to talk about it? Like, how do you evaluate a person who needed this sort of therapy, and how can they benefit uh, this therapy?
Because I'm based at school, so what my other certified trainers do who are in corporate, of course, is different, because you have this 180 degrees evaluation, 360-degree evaluation, right, in corporate. So my other trainers, that's what they do. But as for me, I just conduct more of like a coaching and therapy session. So usually, if children have issues, of course, I would, like what I've said earlier. I conduct photo coaching, right, with my clients. So usually, if things happen at school, I would do one session with the children. If based on the session, I can see that it's because of things that happen at home, then I will call parents in, and I just like make it very casual, like playing cards, getting them to
Mm,
share, because mainly eventually you will find out that they are not really heard at home. So to answer your question, what I do is I do on a more of a personal level, more of like a therapy sessions, because I think, but generally starting 2020, as much as we want to talk about skills, AI and all, eventually it's still human touch.
what are the barriers you realize people are struggling with?
That's a very important question. No, that's a powerful question, actually. I think the biggest barrier is feeling unimportant, that my story is not worth listening to. So that's why they keep surprising themselves. And why do that happen? Mainly because we are not trained how to provide a safe space for people to actually just be vulnerable. Like, for example, um, I don't really like it when people, with this idea of, women, independent women. Like, I
Mm,
don't want to be an independent woman. I don't want to be an independent woman, because I know that whatever it is, I still need a man with me, because for me to operate, to live my life fully, I need my support system, right? So
yes.
regardless how independent you are, or how strong you want to be, or how strong you want to be seen, eventually you need a safe space for you to
Mm,
just be vulnerable, because it is okay to cry. That's why I really don't like it when parents, because I'm at school, right? Like, jangan nangis. Apa ni? You're a boy, jangan nangis. Like, boy or girl, we come with emotions, right? Then who says that boys can't cry? Who says that crying make you weak? So I believe that, to answer your question, the biggest barrier is us not welcoming vulnerability in our life, in our community. Like crying, you're weak, you
mm,
know, like, because we need moment. There are moments, there are ups and downs. So when you're
yeah.
up, like, people will be cheering, celebrating you. But when you're down, who are there? Even sometimes
Mm,
our circle, our parents, our families, they do not know. Maybe because, again, that's what I said. It could be like this generational trauma. Our parents, they don't know, because to them, this is how I was brought up. So this is how I'm going to raise you. I turned out to be good, maybe physically, maybe in terms of work, yes, professionally, but emotionally you are broken, and you are
mm,
giving the same vibe to your children, right? So
mm,
again, to answer your question, I believe that the barrier is us not having that safe space. It is
mm,
sad that, it is good that now we are more open towards mental health, but then again, people are still skeptical, still judgmental. It's good that people are more comfortable going to reaching out for counseling sessions, therapy. But wouldn't it be amazing if, let's say, that safe space is our home,
yes. If it's
right?
not home, mana lagi kan? If it's not home, where else? Everything begins at home. You cannot escape that. Tak boleh, I think. And then satu lagi, kita selalu di-compare, not kita, means people in that generation selalu say like, kita dulu. Okay, I maybe say that sometimes, but that zaman dah berubah. Dulu tak ada phone. Lepas tu dulu sekarang tak banyak tak sama competition dulu dengan sekarang tak sama.
Exactly, betul.
Lain. You
Hmm.
dulu engineer ada 10, sekarang engineer ada 1,000. Dulu degree ada 3,000, 10,000. Sekarang degree 50 juta.
Mm-mm.
So tak sama, you tak boleh nak samakan my success dengan my dad's success.
Mm-mm. True.
Because competition is way too high and you cannot say that I don't have the same emotion struggle as they are or mental capacity. I cannot build the strength the way they did because zaman kita tak sama. Sama exposure. You cannot discount that, and then it's easy for people in that generation. Sometimes, usually my relatives lah, my uncles ke my aunties kan, auntie dulu, uncle dulu, boleh ni sikit je dah mental. I not bukan mental, it's not mental. It's not just mental. I just you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Mm.
It's like you said, it's validation. And then I heard a lot in my podcast is the struggle with validation is something that a lot of people go through. Meaning to say the need to not be validated somewhat is the antidote to validation. But we need validation. We need to be validated for the work that we do, for the feel that we feel, for the emotions that we feel, for the anger that we are, upset about or whatever.
Talking about validation, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Have you heard of love language?
Yes. The five language of love or something. Like
Yes.
bagi barang, peluk, apa? Act of kindness, act of something. Okay, go on.
Mm-mm. So, for instance, because
Ah,
talking about validation, right?
ah,
This is how I connect the dots because a lot of people want to be validated, but
yes.
they need to be validated differently. So when we
Yes.
talk about when you understand a person's love language, for example, there are five, like what you mentioned earlier. So there's
Yes.
word of affirmation, touch, gifts, act of service. Another one I can't really remember. So,
Okay.
for instance, let's say your wife is someone, I mean, her love language is act of service, which means he loves it. She loves it when you do the house chores without her asking you to do it.
Yes.
For example, macam you nampak kereta dia tak ada minyak dah, with your own gestures, you go and isi minyak. That will make her feel loved, for example.
Yes. Yes.
Like my husband, his love language is word of affirmation. So whenever he pays off the bills, for example, he would update me, okay, dah bayar duit rumah bulan ni apa-apa. I would
Ah,
just say to him, thank you for working hard to provide us a home. And then I could see he would be beaming. Macam my love language is touch. So I know you are
yes.
busy, but on my tired days, I just need you give me like 3 minutes of the tightest hug. And then you nak pusing kanan ke, I nak tidur, I nak pusing kiri ke, tak kisah. Kan? So, kan, I don't need presents because he would be like macam, "You nak ni tak? You nak ni tak?" Macam, I don't need those things because I already have those. Like handbag
Yes.
ke, watch ke, I don't need those.
Mm-mm.
But he thinks because that's how he was brought up because my late father-in-law orang zaman dulu kan, so dia tak adalah
Mm.
peluk-peluk ke, tak ada cakap good job, tak. He would buy presents. So my husband always thought back then that's how I should do to my children. Bagi hadiah, bagi hadiah, bagi I hadiah. But I told him no, I just need touch. That's how I will feel loved. So after both all of us, once we understand each other's love language, it saved a lot of money, I would say.
Yes. Yeah.
He wouldn't buy me unnecessary things, right? So, I mean, like what I've shared earlier is apart from conducting sessions for parents at school, I also have like personal clients. So there was what this one person, one lady, anak lima, and she's a full time housewife. So when she came to me, she was very determined to ask for divorce from the husband. The youngest was back then only 5 years old, and then she's not working still. Then I asked her, okay, you not sure, right? I mean, it's your decision,
Yeah.
What is your plan? What is your plan? Adalah ada tanya macam-macam semua tu. And then there was one question I asked her. What actually do you want from him? I nak dia belikan I barang mahal-mahal. I nak dia belikan I handbag.
Mm.
After a while, she
Mm.
paused. Then she said, tak adalah kalau balik kerja tu nampak goreng pisang yang I selalu suka, beli je lah. Kalau tahu budak-budak suka aiskrim, beli je lah. You know, just
Yes.
so it's actually gifts. Her love language is gifts, and it doesn't have to be like expensive, extravagant things. It's just that you buy something for her, macam that shows that, oh, you thought of me. You are actually thinking of me when you are out working. You nampak benda yang suka kecil pun you beli. So
Yeah.
that will make her feel validated.
Yes. Betul.
So
Yang
same
dia
thing.
cakap mahal-mahal tadi tu just out of anger je. Of course, those are the things are bonus lah. Dapat emas, dapat tu, dapat ni kan. New
Yeah.
phone ke apa, those are bonus lah kalau lelaki nak bagi. But of course, not everyone is rich kan. Itu je.
That's why when you mentioned about validation, because sometimes maybe all you need, for example, let's say at work, for example, you've done an amazing job. Maybe all you need is just macam, good job, Refi. You need
Hmm.
that. Certain people maybe macam, jom pergi makan.
Mm-mm.
Or certain people maybe like simple gifts.
Yes, reward. Is it okay for people to want all of the language
In
of
a way,
apa?
no, yes, technically we have all of the languages. We need all of the
Kita
languages.
nak kan? Nak semua. I rasa I nak touch, I nak affirmation, I nak act of service, I nak gift, everything.
Mm-mm. Betul. It's just that if let's say you do the test, you will see that which one is more
Oh, ada
uh,
test.
inclined towards to. Yes, you can just go
Oh,
online. The love languages, fivelovelanguage.com, if I'm not mistaken. So,
okay.
so like my husband is definitely word of affirmation. So little things, for example, he got a new client. Well done, sayang. Thank you for working hard. Dia buang sampah. Thank you so much, buangkan sampah. So he loves that. He loves being appreciated. That's how. So that's why he doesn't like gifts. So thank
Hmm.
God, so on his birthday, I don't really have to buy him gifts.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
Cake.
So senang lah when you understand each other's love language, or else
Yeah.
you will be validating the wrong things. You know, like
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you mean by I never validate your emotion? I buat ke apa benda ni? But yeah, but that's not what I want. Again, salah. Betul tak? Macam aku sebenarnya macam faham tak?
Betul.
Ah.
Aduh, validation. I think validation is important. I think, although, like I said, kan, macam you don't need. You're trying to tell yourself you don't need to be validated, like some sort of an ego forming in your body, trying to avoid validation. But we need at some point. Macam mana sekalipun you berjaya kan, eventually you nak people validate your work or validate that I love you, you love me with gifts, with touch, with anything.
And when we talk about self-awareness, right? You have to know whose validation you need the most.
Mm,
For instance, when I was talking to my youngest hari tu, um, I think it was, I can't really remember what it was all about, but I did ask her, okay, whose validation do you need? You need your friend's validation, or whose validation is important now? Because it may change, subject to changes lah. For example, for this particular issue, I need my parents' validation. Other people can say anything about me, I don't care. But what really matters to me is for my parents to be proud of me. Other people, they don't want to say anything, that's fine. All I want to hear is my dad to just say, I'm proud of you. Kan?
yes.
Cikgu boleh, teachers can give you award at school. But then again, if you come home, your parents do not validate your achievement, tak boleh juga kan? So you
Mhm.
have to identify whose validation matters to you the most.
And it changes according to the subject,
Correct. For example,
kan?
at work, maybe you think, um, as you mature, of course, you have your KPIs that you have to achieve, right? But then again, even after you have achieved it, it's not your boss's validation that you need. You just want to go home, tell your husband what you've achieved, and for him to say, I'm really proud of you, sayang. That tops your boss's punya pujian. Faham tak? That
Yes.
makes your heart full. That makes you want to give more. So that's
Kan
why it
suddenly
huge.
boleh you can like move forward. You can drive yourself
Yes.
further. Very simple, kan? It sounds so
Hmm.
simple, but people take for granted, lah. Even I mean, I'm guilty of that too sometimes. What is your advice to anyone who's looking into emotional intelligence journey to improve their life?
This is what I always tell people. Um, I would like to go back to being an attentive or active listener. So I think that's the very first step that we can actually take. Um, Equip ourselves with the skills of becoming an attentive listener, because your loved ones would need that safe space, and you should know where to go to if you want to vent out, you know. But like what I've told you earlier, if I know that I need to talk to someone, I will go to certain people. When I know that something is not right with me, but I don't want to talk, I would always go to this one place, Rafi. It's called sand play therapy.
Yeah.
Sand play therapy is whereby when you enter the room, there will be like the room is filled with little toys, miniature, and then you will be given like two boxes of sand, wet sand and also dry sand. So you just have to play around, so you won't really feel like you will feel like you are playing. Macam main Lego, macam kita main budak-budak semua tu kan. So
Yeah.
once you're done with your box, the therapist will come to you and the therapist will interpret the box on your behalf. So for example, let's say the both of us we go together and we choose the same toys. For example, let's say we choose Spider-Man. But my Spider-Man, although it's the same one, will be interpreted differently than yours. So that I would definitely go there when I don't feel like talking. When I don't know what's going on with my mind, I don't know what's going on with my body, I don't know what's going on with my life, but I know something is wrong, I would go there because I need somebody to tell me. So
Mm.
for us to, if you want to go seek for therapy, one is you have to be ready to be vulnerable, because sometimes people macam they are still being a bit reserved, right? I want
Yes, yes.
help tapi I don't want to give it all.
Betul. That was
So
me when I started.
so when you don't want to give it all, I do not recommend you to go to a counselor where you are required to talk. So you go for something that you will just play, let someone tell you what's going on. At least they can speak on your behalf.
Yeah.
At least a professional, rather than orang lain pergi judge you lah.
Yeah.
Tu lah
Yeah.
kan. So
Betul.
I think the very first step is it's okay. We do understand because reaching out is not easy. Being vulnerable is not easy. So if you feel that you are scared, you don't want to give it all, then you can go for sand play therapy. It's amazing. It's very helpful. So slowly you will be able to open
Open
up,
up.
because you have to build trust first.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and one more thing, I believe that another reason why I don't know what's happening now, how is it now, because maybe because in my school the counselors are amazing, you know, in terms of PNC, they really jaga benda tu. But back then, you know, when I was in school, like you can go and tell the counselor within hours, you know that other teachers are know about your story.
Yes, betul.
Kan dia
Betul.
macam
Sekolah-sekolah kerajaan especially.
so
Sekolah kerajaan, klinik kerajaan, hospital kerajaan, anything kerajaan is like that.
so then how can we have
Tak
the
tahu.
trust? How can we
Di,
trust you kan? Macam
Diorang tak ada law lah pasal kat Amerika dia panggil HIPAA. I don't know about Malaysia. Kerajaan kita tak ada law untuk cikgu-cikgu ni, kaki tangan kerajaan yang kerja untuk public ni, yang bawa information yang sangat critical macam ni
ha
to safeguard this. I rasa tak ada. I'm not sure. I may be wrong. But I know tak ada sebab tu diorang berani buat.
even kalau ada pun orang tak ikut kot, saya rasa.
Tak tahulah. Dia petulis je tu piagam. Tapi
Ha
terkejut dengar, budak ni ada tattoo, budak ni LGBT or whatever. Teacher tu dah tahu, lepas tu teacher tu pergi masuk kat dalam kelas dia pergi cerita.
There you
Gila
go.
lah.
So that's why I think another reason why people are still skeptical of reaching out.
Yes, of
Mm.
course. And that's why kita makin teruk tau. I mean, I'm saying that kita means like macam mana orang tak, bila orang takut nak get help,
Mm-mm.
dia tak solve benda tu. It
Exactly.
doesn't, dia tak solve because benda tu akan jadi lagi teruk. Parah dia orang panggil. Itu yang
Betul.
kita lihat sekarang ni. I just saw hari tu Kementerian Wanita ke Kementerian Keluarga ke, I tak ingat, yang Datuk Nancy cakap people are starting having sex at the age of 12 in Malaysia, and most of them are in Kelantan,
Kan out of
Selangor.
kan.
Lepas tu Buatlah berita, keluarlah berita tu. Lepas tu, you know what? Because you know why? Because you judge people. People, diorang bukan takat having sex at 12. Benda yang diorang buat tu kita tak boleh nak control. It's behind closed doors, right? Kita tak nampak.
Correct.
Tapi bila
Mm-mm.
dia start bawa penyakit,
Yes.
dia start bawa penyakit and spreading it around. And then kena kat baby ya, bila STD ni baby boleh cacat. Bila diorang mengandung,
Kan?
yes, so boleh. So jadi tiba-tiba tak nak bagi kena marah, kena macam conversation you cakap tadi, shifting conversation, tular.
Mm-mm.
They start raping people. They start doing other things they're not supposed to because kita punya community like diorang stigma yang sangat teruk.
Correct. Betul?
Sebab kita tak boleh, to me kan, dia ada dua benda tau. Daripada you tak boleh benda tu you memang tak boleh kawal. You tutup atau buka aib tu.
Mm-mm.
You cannot control because people do it. So it's best if you give them the space to get treatment or you merebakkan lagi benda tu.
Betul?
Which one would you choose? Mestilah bagi diorang space to get treatment kan? Safe.
Mm-mm.
Safe treatment meaning tanpa rasa prejudice, tanpa rasa judgment, tanpa
Mm-mm.
rasa diorang ni discriminate because of their lifestyle choices. They
Betul?
cannot get help if you putting a shield and then you don't build the trust with them. So I think to top it up, your advice that when you find your person to talk to, make sure you trust them.
Mm-mm.
Selagi you tak ni, it's gonna be challenging lah. Something you're gonna have to find your way out lah. There's a lot of resources, I believe. And then it's not easy to find the right one because
True.
everyone is entitled to their opinion,
Mm-mm.
kan? But at
Betul?
the same time, it's important to practice apa dia panggil ni? Practice not privacy.
Ya.
Confidential, yes. Kena practice ni, penting sangat ni. Especially you when you are in this kind of service,
Mm-mm.
kan?
Because like macam everyone's dark story is a dark story for them. You know, maybe if let's say once we have heard it macam lah tu je ke, tak ada apa-apa lah, nak malu-malu sangat. But to that person, it's something huge,
Mm.
something
Mm-mm.
dark,
Yeah.
right? So and that's why um, providing that space for them to be able to open up is really important. And it has to start from home. So everyone has to want to, equip themselves with those skills. Like moving forward, right? For example, in a marriage, eventually it's not about sex anymore, right? When you grow old together, it's not about sex anymore. It's about having
Yes.
a companion. So, okay, it's about having a companion. But if you are a companion who cannot listen to your wife, then how are you going to live the rest of your life together, right? When you don't listen
Betul.
and you keep shifting. Itulah. I dulu.
Shifting. Betul. I like lah. I need to find that book. I
Nanti
like that shifting.
I'll share the book with you nanti. Have it.
Shifting dengan apa support
Mm-mm.
Support
The chapter is very short. The chapter is very short, but then I think now you know the term already. I think you can have your own examples, shifting and
mm.
supporting.
Nanti I
Mm.
just Google and find out also. Tapi at the same time kan masa I buat rehab and therapy tu kan, you
Mm-mm.
mentioned about being dark kan, to the experience is dark for you kan. When I
Mm-mm.
went to rehab, I thought my story was dark. Bila I dengar orang lain punya, I macam terbalik macam dia betik. Macam
Oh,
ada rasa, kita rasa macam kita ingat kita punya dah dark, orang ni lagi dark. Yang dia dengar I punya, dia pula aku ingat aku punya dark, dia punya lagi.
kan?
So dia rasa macam, so because it was a circle time tau, dia bukan one on one punya, dia ada dua session. Satu session tu is a circle time. The circle time is you share what you feel you can share openly. Okay, so masa tu bila you cakap kan, I really felt like my story was dark kan. Like I
Mm-mm.
cannot accept myself, this and that. Bila cerita, diorang macam, diorang rasa bersyukur yang diorang bukan I.
Mungkin bersyukur yang you bukan diorang
Yang I pula bersyukur I bukan diorang. So dia jadi macam counter balik tau. Tiba-tiba semua orang macam, oh I love my life. Tiba-tiba.
Betul.
I love my son. Bila I dengar macam, betul lah. Yang ni cerita bapak dia bunuh.
Ha.
Bapak dia was ni kat Amerika lah. Amerika kan ni kan. Lepas tu yang seorang ni ada yang seorang ni pula bapak dia mabuk or something lah, abusive and everything. I pula macam, oh my god, teruknya, siannya, something like
Mm-mm.
that. Lepas tu dia
Mm-mm.
dengar I pula in a marriage where I'm not being myself, but it's okay, but I don't want to be in it, but I want to be in it. Diorang macam, how do you live like that? Diorang macam bersyukur diorang. Bersyukur diorang ada.
Aduh, walaupun bapak aku bunuh-bunuh tak apalah. At least I
Tak
get.
apa, sebab I punya lagi teruk, dia tak boleh terima
Ha.
hidup I macam ni. So I macam, oh, I pula, kita pula tak nak yang pukul-pukul mabuk-mabuk tu kan.
Betul.
Itu yang mabuk-mabuk tu pun dah macam, siannya kecil-kecil, dia kena pukul, mabuk. Oh, orang putih kan arak. Something like that lah. So I was like, okay, my story is dark and then other people's also dark. So in our own eyes, it is dark.
Mm-mm.
Kan? Bila kita
Betul.
cross share like that, oh okay, there's something to look at. There's always the bright side to look into. Meaning, none of us is perfect. No matter what we go through, tak ada orang yang sempurna.
Mm-mm.
Now, before we end the conversation, Zee Jamil, what are your hopes and dreams for yourself, and for the world?
Okay, my hope, since we are moving towards 2024, my hope, this is something that I've been visualizing for the past few years. I want to be the most renowned emotional intelligence practitioner in Asia or the world if I can.
Wow.
Because this information is out there, but it's just an information. People don't really practice it because they don't know how. Like things that I've shared with you, I believe you've heard it, right? You've read about it. But if you get to penetrate into people and get them to at least practice one, just imagine how many lives can we save, how many marriages can be, like what you said earlier, salvaged, right?
Mm-mm.
So my dream is to go big. I used to play small. I used to doubt myself a lot. But through emotional intelligence, I believe that I have to be big so that I can reach out to more people. It's not for me, but it's, when you are big, at least you can reach out to more people, right? You can do more great things, right? So that is the motivation now. So I hope
Yes.
I'll be Dr. Zee Jamil in 5, 6, 7 years, inshallah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So does that mean you have to take PhD or something?
Yes. So I'll be registering for my master's in March. So master's in human resource management. I hope I can do it fast, and then I hope I can quickly immediately do my PhD
Yes.
in
Okay.
emotional intelligence.
Okay. Wonderful. Zee Jamil, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you
stories with
so
me.
much for the invitation.
Yes, you are an inspiration to me, and I love talking to you about this whole journey. I think it's such a great, an eye-opening to me. I feel like a whole new person. I feel like there's a lot I need to improve. I hope the listeners will find value in this conversation. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you.
Yeah, and I really hope that this podcast, whether mine or all your guests' podcasts, will reach out to as many people because you are changing people's life. You are impacting people's life. So keep doing it, okay?
All right. Thank you. Support the He podcast via a one-time donation, a monthly subscription from as low as $1, a lifetime membership, and purchase He's exclusive collection of merchandise. And for all other business inquiries at buymeacoffee.com/Rafi. Thank you for listening to He. A new episode is available every Thursday, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We'd love to hear from you. Follow me on social media at Rafi Ridzwan and at He Podcast for all the updates and behind the scenes. Once again, thank you for listening to He with Rafi Ridzwan.